Hello, and welcome back to Two Therapists Walk into a Podcast. I'm Robin Green. I am an LCSW in Tucson, Arizona.
And I'm Stephanie Edsel, an LCSW in Salt Lake City, Utah.
In our last episode, we said something important, that these 5 patterns aren't 5 separate roommates living in everyone. They're more like 5 directions a person can get pulled in.
Yeah, and some people know all 5 like old friends. Some can only find 2 or 3. That's not a smaller version of the truth. It's just how much weight that particular system had to carry.
Right? And either way, today we open the door properly. Meet the parts.
Please bring whoever shows up.
Let's take a moment to arrive, as always. Go ahead and settle in, however you're settled. And for the next minute, we're not naming anything, just noticing who's home. Notice your breath, however it's moving right now. Fast, slow, shallow. It doesn't matter. Just notice it's there, doing its thing, without even being asked. Notice your shoulders, wherever they've landed, up near your ears, maybe dropped somewhere in between. And noticing if there's any pull in you right now, toward moving, towards stillness, towards reaching for someone, maybe pulling back. No judgment on any of it. It's just information. Whatever's here is allowed to be here. We're not choosing anything yet, just noticing who's showed up today. Let's begin. Okay, let's do this properly because I think the order matters. Fight and flight first because I think those two are cousins.
Yeah, the movers.
Right? Both assume the same thing. There's a way out of this through action. Fight goes first. Flight goes away from it. Same engine, opposite direction.
What does fight actually look like on any random day, though? Nobody's throwing punches at the DMV, okay?
No, I think it's quieter. Maybe the email that comes out sharper than you meant. The argument you can't let go of at 11 o'clock at night. Replaying your own comeback. Instant, disproportionate irritation at somebody who's just a little bit in your way.
Those are my favorite. Gosh, the snap before you even decided to snap.
Ugh, exactly. And what it's protecting is real. It's saying, not again, not this time. I won't be caught flat-footed. It just doesn't always know the danger it trained for isn't the one currently in the room.
Correct. Flight's the one who's already left before anyone noticed they were even leaving.
I think sometimes literally, like out the door.
Yep.
Into the car. More often it's a little bit more subtle. The extra shift you pick up, the phone you reach for mid-conversation, the relationship you're already exiting in your head, the moment it asks something real of you.
Busy as a form of gone.
Busy as a form of gone, and what it's protecting is straightforward. It learned that staying in certain rooms costs something, and leaving early costs less.
Freeze is next. And Freeze doesn't have a cousin. It's on its own.
It is. It's the oldest strategy in the kit, the one we share with almost every animal that's ever been cornered. When fighting won't work and running isn't possible, the system doesn't do nothing. It goes still on purpose.
Playing dead is not passive. It's brilliant, you guys. It's amazing. It's a decision your body makes for you out of safety and survival.
And so then what does it look like grown up?
Well, that's the problem, right? Because we haven't been able to close that up and come out of freeze. So that might be the fog that rolls in mid-conversation, where you can see your own mouth moving, but you're not quite behind it. The blank that arrives right when you needed to speak up. Going through an entire day competent and functional, and somehow completely absent from your own life.
It's the quietest one.
It is often the most misunderstood because stillness reads as calm from the outside. Or worse, this is the big one, not caring. It's neither. It's a nervous system that decided disappearing was safer than being seen. I am so guilty of this. I am a workaholic. Anybody will tell you that. I will disappear into my computer at any given time, and I will genuinely be working. But it is not necessarily stuff that needs to be done right then and there because my body's just normalized that kind of bracing. I have actually had to notice that and step away and remind myself that there's no real threat, there's no danger, and to be present in this time, in this moment, it's safe.
I like that. Okay, and now the two that are actually about other people, fawn and flock. And I would bet listeners underestimate these two because they don't look like defenses at all. They look like personality.
Ooh, am I about to be feeling personally attacked here?
I think that I am.
Oh my gosh. Fawn is the instant scan for what will keep the room calm. And the instant delivery of it before anyone's even asked.
Okay, I'm just going to say it. That one's mine. Immediately agreeable. Chronically fine. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, we know, Robin. We know.
I do contain multitudes, and apparently one of them is a doormat.
Well, a very hard-working doormat, I'd say, at least. Fawning isn't weakness, okay? It's strategy. It figured out, usually very young, that being needed and being pleasant was safer than being seen as a problem. Active work. It just does the work with a smile, so nobody clocks it as work at all.
And then there's flock. I want to slow down on this one because I think it's the easiest to get wrong.
How so?
Well, because reaching for people when you're scared or hurting isn't a trauma response on its own. That's just attachment. It's healthy. Babies do it. Adults do it. It's how we're built. You get hurt and you go find someone.
Yeah, okay. The drive itself is completely ordinary. What makes flock a survival part instead of just being a person who likes people is what it's compensating for.
Which is,
Sometimes the person a child needed to run to for safety was also sometimes the source of the fear. A parent who could be warm and then frightening or frightened themselves in ways a small kid couldn't predict. There's a term for that bind: fright without solution. Because the instinct says go toward them, and the instinct also says get away from them, and both are firing about the same exact person at the same exact time.
right, and so there's no right move available.
None. And the nervous system that grows up inside that bind often comes out the other side reaching for closeness urgently, almost indiscriminately, because the terror of being alone got wired in even more strongly than any confidence about who could actually keep it safe.
So the tell isn't this person likes connection. It's that the reaching happens under duress, and it doesn't discriminate much between someone who's safe and someone who isn't. So proximity is what that part is chasing, not necessarily good judgment about who is providing it.
Exactly. Healthy attachment can tell the difference, and it can still function without the person there. It's flexible. You reach out, and you can also be alone for a while and be okay. The flock part isn't flexible in the same way because to it, alone was never actually safe to begin with.
Which is the part behind the text you shouldn't send out maybe at 1 a.m. or the relationship you stay in past the point it's serving you. Because to that part, presence is the whole safety plan, regardless of who's providing it.
I would like to say plainly, that's not a character flaw either. Same logic as everything else on this list. It found the option that worked when the options were limited.
Right, so fight and flight move you through the danger. Freeze stops you cold in front of it. Fawn and flock try to make the danger itself go away by managing the person or by not being alone with it.
5 completely different strategies. 5 completely reasonable responses to being a small creature in a large, unpredictable world. None of them a character flaw. All of them, at some point, correct.
Right, and every single one of these was somebody's best available option at an age when the options were genuinely limited. It's an explanation, and there's a big difference.
A significant one. Which brings us to something worth understanding about how these actually take over. Not just what they are, but what it feels like from the inside when one of them does.
I think that can be the nervous system nugget.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Okay, today's word, blending.
Give it to us plainly, please.
Okay, so when a part takes over completely, you don't experience it as a part of me is angry. You experience it as I am angry, full stop. This is just who I am right now. That's blending. It's a part. And your whole sense of self becoming the same thing. So no space between them.
So in the moment, there's no part at all. Just you.
Just you, entirely made of whatever that part is carrying. Which is why people say things like, I don't know what came over me. Because from inside, blending, nothing came over anyone. There was no anyone else left to notice it happening, really.
So the opposite of that is dual awareness.
Right. Which doesn't really mean calm, and it doesn't mean the part goes away. It means some sliver of you can notice the part is active while it's happening. Something in me just went cold. Something in me wants to leave this conversation. The feeling is fully present, but so is the noticer.
That noticer being the going on with life self, right? They're still there, even mid-storm.
Dual awareness is the difference between being swept somewhere and watching yourself get swept.
And that's not nothing. Watching yourself get swept is already a different experience than just being swept.
Yes, it's the entire beginning of choice. You can't redirect a river you don't know you're standing in. So the moment there's a noticer, there's a bank to stand on, really.
So the goal isn't never blending.
Right. The goal is never blending. That's not realistic. And
Right.
it's and it's not even necessary. The goal is getting quicker at noticing. It's that awareness when it's happened. That's a skill. It gets easier with practice, like anything else worth doing.
I would have to agree.
Today's skill, we're calling it Welcome Committee. I love this.
Would you mind walking us through that?
Sure. You don't need to identify the exact part precisely. I really want to stress it, like that's not the point. Just noticing which family showed up. Is this a mover, fight or flight? Is it the stillness of freeze? Or is it reaching outward, fawn or flock?
Rough sorting, okay, not a diagnosis.
Right. And once you've got a rough sense, you offer maybe one internal line matched to that family. If it's a mover, something like, I see you. You can stand down a little. I've got this one.
If it's freeze, maybe say something like, you can stay as long as you need. Nothing's requiring you to leave yet.
If it's fawn or flock, I don't have to earn my place in this room, or even simpler, I'm allowed to be here without managing anyone.
You're not trying to override the part, not running it off or arguing it out of existence, because it will not work.
You're just meeting it at the door instead of being ambushed by it. A welcome, not a negotiation.
Rough family, one line. It's like the welcome committee.
So here's what we'll leave you with this week.
Which one did you meet first? Listening today. And if you can, get curious about how old it might be. Not in years exactly, but in feel. What did it need back when it started the job?
And no rush on that answer. It'll probably still be there tomorrow.
Most likely. And next time is a shorter one, our first mini of the series. A field guide to all 5. Quick reference. Plus a check-in you can use anytime you need to take attendance.
So we're talking about a field guide to all 5 of our parts. Consider it the cheat sheet for everything we just covered.
Thanks for being with us, all of you, whichever ones showed up today. And remember, healing isn't linear, and we're here for the ride. This podcast is for educational purposes only, and it is not a substitute for therapy, medical care, or professional advice.
Listening to this podcast or this episode does not create a therapeutic, clinical, or professional relationship with us.
If you're experiencing distress, physical symptoms, or emotional concerns that feel overwhelming, we both encourage you to seek support from a qualified healthcare or mental health professional.
And if you are in immediate danger or need urgent support, please contact local emergency services or a crisis line in your area.